Oh, what is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. What a summer it's been for just the whole genre in general, both hunting and fishing, just the entire genre. We got a brand new hunting game, Way of the Hunter, the Angler, Call of the Wild, the Angler as well. It's been a crazy summer, and as we start to roll into, September, October's coming soon, we're getting close to the end of the year, which means we have to start to think of what is next for Call of the Wild. It's been a while since we've had any new content, DLCs, updates. The last map was obviously Run Onto the Coast back in June, so as we start to get closer to the end of the year here, we have to start thinking about what new map is coming. Are we going to get a new DLC? Is there going to be a new update? In this video, I want to talk about what my hopes and expectations are for what is coming in Call of the Wild. I feel like this is a very important time for Call of the Wild. I feel like this is a really good time for them to really come out and kind of blow everyone's socks off with some new content. My hopes for the next map I'm going to share in this video. I'm going to talk about some of the possibilities, some of the things that I think could be coming down the line for Call of the Wild, as well as far as like DLCs and things like that could just be just over the horizon for Call of the Wild. So if you enjoyed this video, drop a like on it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, but without further ado, let's just jump straight into the video. So yeah, guys, I imagine that in the very near future, Call of the Wild EW are going to be probably announcing something coming down the line, whether it's a new update or a new DLC, or whether it's clues to a new map, things like that. We are getting close to that time. So I think that right now, we haven't heard anything. They've been very, very quiet for the last couple months, and I do believe that they are working on some exciting stuff, and I think that we're going to be getting some exciting news in the near future. Some of the stuff that I think could be a possibility, we know that there is probably going to be a sight and scope DLC of some sort, whatever that entails. They have kind of hinted at that. They were doing some polls on what people would like to see in the next DLC, and I believe the sight and scope, the whole idea of some more sights, some more scopes, and that sort of thing in the game was very, very popular. So I think there's a very good chance that we could be seeing a new sight and scope type of DLC coming down the line. Trail cams and feeders are something that we have all wanted for so long in Call of the Wild. Whether or not they are exploring that and actually touching on that and working on that sort of thing is completely unknown. They have not done any hinting towards that as far as I know, other than on Run Onto the Coast having the trail cams at the caches in the outposts. Not really any hints or any reason to believe that they would be doing that, but hopefully maybe it is a possibility. Possibly a new vehicle in the game. We still just have the ATV. There's the possibility of maybe a Jeep being added to the game, or a side-by-side, or maybe even boats if we're really lucky, if that's even possible for them to do. That would be incredible. And then we got to think about backfilling, right? So we've had all these resets to all of the maps, and we can only hope that part of the reason for doing that was we know that it had a lot to do with the old coding, kind of going back and tweaking and fixing some of that old coding, making it easier to work with. So we can only hope that that means that it's in the scope for them to maybe do some backfilling on some of the older maps. A couple of the maps that come to mind for me are Medved Taiga and Yukon Valley. Both maps are a little bit short when it comes to species, right? So maybe we could see maybe some Arctic fox or some Siberian roe deer added on Medved, or maybe if we're really lucky, Yukon Valley will get some muskox or some Dall sheep. So many of us in the community want that so bad, some backfilling to some of the older maps. And for me, those are the two that really stick out. Some new species on either Medved or maybe Yukon, or maybe both. Now, I am going to talk about my predictions for the next maps in the game, and I've got four predictions, four hopes that I want to talk about and go into a little bit of detail as far as species and things like that and how they would work in Call of the Wild specifically. But another thing that I really want to talk about is possible changes to the way that the need zones, the respawns, the animal behavior work within the game, because we all know about herd management, right? The diamond code, if you will, has kind of been cracked in the game. We all know about herd management. A lot of people are using that in their Great One grinds or in super rare grinds, and it's a little bit unfortunate. I think it takes away from the genuinity of the game, the integrity of just the hunting in general of the game. It kind of takes away the thrill of the hunt feel of the game, and it has kind of turned the game into an ultimately kind of grinding kind of game. Most people that are playing this game and play regularly are kind of grinding a species and trying to pump out as many dimes as they can until a super rare or a Great One spawns. And so what I'm hoping is maybe they're doing something to change that, change the way the need zones work, change the way the animals interact with their need zones, change the way that respawns work so that you can't kind of predict and manipulate your populations of any particular species. So I hope that maybe that's coming down the line. Maybe animals will behave a little bit differently according to their need zones, a little bit more loose, maybe a little bit more like they do in Way of the Hunter. I'm not sure, but that's something that maybe we could be expecting as well. It's something that I am hoping for. I think it's something that would be very well received, and I think it would be very good for the future of the game itself. So I think it's also possible we could get another Trurak species in the game in the coming months here, leading up to the next map. I think it's very possible that we could see maybe another Trurak species in Africa. We currently still only have the one, the lesser kudu, so maybe springbok or Cape Buffalo, something like that. Could maybe get some Truraks. Plains bison would be a really cool addition for Truraks, so that might be something that's coming down the line as well. But let's just jump. I want to talk about maps, okay? I've got 4 predictions that I want to talk about for the next map, and we're gonna start. I'm going to start from the top and work my way down to my list here the way that I've written it. And the first one is Northern Canada. So we don't have a true Canada map in the game. We do have Leighton Lakes, which is basically situated on the border of British Columbia and Washington, which technically does make it a hybrid kind of Canada-US map. So technically we do have a Canada map in the game, but we don't have a true Canada map. And I think that if they were to do that, I would want to see it up in the north. So up in the Northwest Territories or in the Yukon Territories or in Nunavut, somewhere up there where we could possibly see some muskox, some polar bears, some reindeer, some Arctic fox, beavers, Canada lynx, Arctic hares, Arctic wolves, wood bisons, lots of really cool species up there. I can see it being a really cool map in the game. Maybe something kind of similar to Yukon Valley, but it could definitely have its own identity. We could finally see some species that we haven't seen in the game just yet. There's also some good bird species up there. Rock ptarmigan, common eider. So really, really cool. I think it would be amazing to have a true Canada map. It's something we don't have in the game, and I think it would be very, very well received, and I think it would be a really good direction for them to go to for the next map, but I don't think it's the best direction, and we'll get to that. Another map, if it's in their scope to do this, I'm not sure if Call of the Wild would ever make a map in Asia, but if they did, I think it would definitely spike some major hype and be a popular map in the game. We're talking about clouded or snow leopards, Asian black bears, rhinos, brown bear, honey badger, sun bear, camels possibly if they want to go in that direction. Lots of possibilities, obviously depending on what part of Asia they were to focus on, whether it be India or anywhere. Asia is obviously huge. They could do a lot of different things with it, but I think that could be a very good thing for the game. The next one I want to talk about is obviously Australia. If I had to guess what the next map will be in Call of the Wild, and if I'm just to make a bold prediction right now, I think the next map will be Australia. I think that's been on their list for a while. And if I'm to kind of predict where their roadmap is right now, after Finland coming out, I think Australia is going to be next on the list. It's hard for me to imagine that it wouldn't be. Maybe it's a couple maps down the road. Australia is definitely going to be a map in Call of the Wild as far as I'm concerned. And I do think that it's probably going to be next. So Australia, obviously we're talking about kangaroos, different species of kangaroos, tree kangaroos, red kangaroos. We've got wallabies, we've got crocodiles, lots of different species of deer, red deer, fallow deer, sambar deer. Hopefully if they do Australia, there will be sambar deer. That's probably my #1 animal that I want to see as far as an Australia map goes. Roosa deer, whitetail could be a thing in Australia as well. Wombats and dingoes, things like that. Indian hog deer. There's a small population of Indian hog deer in Australia as well, so that's a possibility. So obviously Australia would probably do very, very well. A lot of people want to see Australia. It would not be a bad move for them to do that. So I'm hoping that is a possibility for the next map. But obviously my #1 pick and what I'm hoping for is Africa 2.0. If we're talking about hype and popularity and bringing Call of the Wild back up and getting that hype back that's kind of dissipated a little bit over these last couple months with the Angler coming out and Way of the Hunter. Call of the Wild has kind of been quiet for a while. I think a really good way for them to bring a lot of that hype back, to really get people talking and playing the game again and watching the content. Africa 2.0, you got to do Africa 2.0. We're talking about rhinos. I'm hoping that if they do Africa 2.0, before I get into the species list, I'm hoping it's like an East Africa situation, like Kenya area. My imagination's been going kind of wild thinking about what the next Africa map could be like in Call of the Wild or in Way of the Hunter. I've kind of got a vision for it. And basically, yeah, rhino, hippos, spotted hyenas, or aardwolves, or both for like a predator species. So many species of antelope, but also elephants, right? Zebras, greater kudu, hartebeest, eland, impala, nyala, blue wildebeest, or any kind of wildebeest wildebeests as well. I'm hoping that wildebeest would be a thing because I'm hoping for Nile crocodiles, and I'm hoping what I want to see in a hunting game for an Africa map. I think this is the end all be all for me. The holy grail of an Africa map in a hunting game is to actually implement into the map the Nile River, right, and have the wildebeest cross, do the wildebeest Nile River crossing with crocodiles lining the river, some of the wildebeest being caught by the crocodiles and eaten, and just that whole thing. Like maybe it could happen rarely in the game where the wildebeest kind of all you know, band together and do the Nile River crossing. I think that would be incredible. I think Way of the Hunter could definitely pull that off, and maybe even Call of the Wild could pull that off too. And then obviously, yeah, eland, nyala, impala, Statunga antelope, water bucks, baboons, no shortage of species for an Africa 2.0 map. I hope that is what they're working on. I think that would be the best thing for the game right now. Come out with Africa 2.0, maybe come out with Africa for the Hunter Classic at the same time, maybe do a simultaneous release, as well as a true rack species. I think it would be big if they came out with Africa 2.0 as well as a new true rack species for the existing Africa map for Honga Savannah, and then maybe as well as you know, a DLC or an update or some changes to the way respawns work like we talked about before. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think that's everything I wanted to talk about. Yeah, so I'm excited for what is next in Call of the Wild. Are you guys excited? Let me know down in the comments. What are you guys expecting next as far as what is to come for Call of the Wild? What do you think they're going to do next? What are you hoping for? Let me know down in the comments. Let's start the conversation. It's getting close to that time of year. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like on it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're on the road to 50,000 subs. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one.